all the behind-the-scenes stuff, so the guys really took control on this one and were able to set the lineup for us. So, yeah, it was nice to see them kind of coming in and mixing it up a bit, putting a Protoss out on Curious Minds. Feel like they had some good ideas at least, so we'll see if it all pays off. Nate, are we ready to kick off this classic GuMiho series? Should be fun, man.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Doggo, chat can hear. Lewis was now we live in like a neighborhood and there's other dogs and stuff. So he's met a bunch of other dogs and it's been incredible. So he's, I don't know, I guess the morning bark sesh is going. I had to call him over here. He might jump on me mid-game. Fair warning.
That's okay. Everything is better with a little bit of dog jumping in mid-game. It sounds like a lot of fun to me. I'll put the cameras up if it happens, okay? Don't worry.
He had never seen a large body of water before. We took him to the river yesterday, and his first thought was, "Oh, this is pretty shallow," and he just dove straight in and started freaking out. He's like, "Nope, not shallow, not shallow." And then like any good dog, he immediately just threw himself at the ground and straight into the mud once he was out of the water. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, my puppy was doing similar things yesterday. Not quite with water, but mud, some horse poop. It was having a good old time.
Okay, so we were probably hosing down our dogs at the same time. Nice.
Something.
I feel like we have a spiritual connection. A spiritual connection.
Well, that's why it's going to end, Nick, because we're now officially mortal enemies for the next hour and a half or so as we kick off into some StarCraft 2 games.
The next 3 maps, right?
Next 3 maps? Yeah, my team has been looking good. You're not wrong. We already threw out CG. Yeah, well, we can do it. We can do it. Bottom right-hand side from the stasis, Wardies didn't even have to show up for the last match. He just sort of, sat there and watched the team do the business. Now it's his turn to start us off. It is classic in the bottom right.
All right. His opponents in the northwest, the god of all of the strange Terran builds himself, representing Sidestorm Gaming, he is GuMiho.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the logic was for putting Classic on Curious. Classic throughout the season was kind of like, no Curious, no Curious, and obviously kind of a Terran map, right? It's pretty good for PvT. TVP, obviously, from the Terran perspective. I imagine here they said, well, maybe Classic can actually do good sniping to Terran. Maybe he wants to avoid Rogue or so, and maybe avoid the PvP. So maybe we were just looking to give Classic a PvT. Like I say, I haven't had a chance to check up on what the whole logic of everything was, because obviously I was doing all the producing and the observing and cheering on Rorty's team. So, we didn't have to play Cyril in the finals, but that didn't quite work out.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, if you don't mind me asking, to just completely derail this short conversation at the start of this game, while your probe harasses my SCV, which is also against the law, by the way. Oh, yeah. How did Pig's team end up doing at the start? How did that match shake up?
Complete chaos, actually. It was some really long games. Like, we were super behind schedule. Obviously, he took on Roddy's team, and Time beat Dream. Then Reno beat Nice, but after in like a 30-minute game. It was really close, and Reno looked like he was in trouble for some time. Then Kua beat Kelazur, but that was also a 30-minute game, and Kelazur came back from being super behind and made it really close.
Kelazur had a hell of a day today, huh?
Yeah,
he's crushing it.
He played some sick games. And then what else must have happened? Must have been MaxPax beat Clem. Clem opened like 2x Reaper, and it didn't quite work out, and MaxPax kind of just swarmed from there. And Clem took like another couple bad fights. And the final map must have been... Who else is on the team? Austin?
I'm gonna have to ask you to start summarizing TV shows for me next. You're pretty good at this commentary thing, Wardy.
I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think back, man. I've been sat here watching. I should know everything, right? In theory, at least.
the string puller, the man behind the curtain. That's classic. I wasn't sure if he was gonna try to do something weird with that probe that he moved out, but Stargate and PvT on this map. I guess he's hoping for a drop, like a mine drop or something, but GuMiho's going straight for the tech lab on the factory. This is one of the other reasons why I like players that do weird stuff. Not because their strategies are necessarily always the strongest, but if you try to like mind game them a little bit, if you try to do something that's anti-meta and they're not necessarily always playing meta, then sometimes you can just accidentally put yourself into a build order loss. So that's what I'm hoping for here. That Classic is just going to have like 4 Phoenix against 10 Marines and 2 tanks and just will not have enough to stop this 2-base push. I feel like that's pretty much that's what Terran does on this map, right? Just that big siege up either on the natural.
I was gonna say the Phoenix opening is pretty funky, but then he does drop the Robo pretty quick, which I do like at least. He just needs to be really careful, because obviously if this is just going to be like Marine tanks straight across the map, then sieging up like from the low ground and being able to knock down like the Robo facility and stuff is going to be really bad. So Classic needs to be able to deal with that. And again, with the speed of the Robo, it's definitely possible, and I love that he's got the Phoenix coming across the map. He's realizing, okay, it's not a mine drop maybe by the timing. He's actually going to get to see the medevac here, and you'll see the tank, or at least the factory, producing, so that's really good info. Doesn't see the tank, but gets a pretty good read on what it could potentially be, and instantly starts producing a Void Ray. I love it. Getting Immortal going as well, and I love it even more.
Okay, yeah. Well, Void Ray Immortal in this situation, that's... Well, you know, I'm glad we made the Roddy reference because we're here, right? He's a little Protoss mech action for starting up. I actually, yeah, I gotta agree with you. I don't think that there's any flaw with this. If trying to make this push, the only problem is that he doesn't have really the ability to reinforce this.
Yeah.
Because without a Twilight Council, just 2 gateways, the Void Ray and the Immortal have to just win it for him.
Yeah, he does have, obviously, the Phoenix can lift up tanks as well. I don't think he saw the SCV, so he maybe doesn't know how aggressive it is, but this is great, obviously, right? Catching this immediately. I don't love the lift on that Marine because, well, the tanks are there, and I would like to have lifts for the tanks, so this is great. I mean, look how far GuMiho has to see.
You should lift up the repairing SCVs. You should just lift up the SCVs. Yeah? I agree with you, Wardi. Yeah, that would be a much better use of the energy.
Well, tanks get lifted, they give an array. I think GuMiho is right to back away from this. Classic adjusted his build. He saw what was coming. The Phoenix scouting was very critical here. Otherwise, he would have been blind. He might have been on 4 or 5 Phoenix and then nothing to really fight with. And then that could have been really troubling. But this, I like this a lot for Classic because obviously GuMiho committed a lot to this as well and still had those SCVs on the map, right, for a long time that weren't mining. So, Classic, good little start. Obviously, still only on 2 bases, but he is going into the Robo Bay. That's part of his plan to move up into that Colossus tech nice and quickly.
It's kind of strange. Without the Twilight Council to get big gateway upgrades, I'm thinking to myself that there's like that transition to the mid-game composition isn't necessarily prepped up for Classic, but since he's going Robo Bay and still building Immortals and Phoenix, like the core of his army is still very good. And likewise for GuMiho, he has to start up Stem, which is going to take him a little bit longer than it's going to take this Colossus to come out. So getting that 3rd, which can technically be a pain in the butt for Terrans. I do wonder what the strategy here. What is the exit strategy on this opening for GuMiho, or is he just gonna push again with everything after he gets another 20 supply?
I mean, he's just gonna drop 3 more racks, right? So 5 racks, lots of pressure. Maybe you take like a very late 3rd behind this in case you do a lot but don't end the game. It's just gonna be tough because you're basically 2 base all in and into like a Colossus Phoenix setup, which is one of the safer ways you can play as Classic. Yeah, you're not going to have charge or the bulky gateway units to help you out, but you're not meant to have those because you're going to have so much tech anyway. And it's not like GuMiho's going to have Stim for a long time. I mean, this first push is very much so about the tanks, which, to be fair, these tanks can do very well, right? Because if they get sieged up on that high ground, that can be difficult to deal with, so that could be a potential problem. As Vikings actually get the Phoenix, yeah, I mean, I do like how quickly he's got the Vikings up, so that does mean he's got something against the Colossus, but we've also got a couple Voids to help out. I don't know, Nadis is kind of all over the place. It's kind of fun so far. It's hard to say what's going to happen.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I actually really like just those Vikings. Even if the Void Rays just attack them and kill them immediately, I think what you were saying about the tanks getting on the Colossus is still a big option and will make it very difficult to engage. Because it's just the 1 Colossus, I think with the tank count, he can basically 1 or 2 shot it. So the Vikings don't need to zone that away, but if they just keep the Void Rays off the tanks or the Phoenix, then I do like that. It's kind of this is such a weird style, like that Classic. He's just got this really ragtag army and doesn't really want to build gateway units. I don't know. Maybe Rotterdam heard us talking smack and told Classic what to do here because he's literally just got 2 gateways and he's building another Stargate.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. I'm a little scared about it, especially with like an extra Stargate going down. I didn't hate it initially, but if he was just going extra gates and stuff now, I like it a lot more because I also feel like one of the weaknesses of like Phoenix Colossus is just like a big surround, and it's so possible on this map with a lot of open space. So I'm a little scared. We'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like Classic so far did a great job of also poking forward and stopping GuMiho from getting in position. He's not been able to do that here as much. I mean, GuMiho sieges now, but he took a big step forward. Classic needs to have a way to deal with this very soon because this is starting to get in position and in a scary place, right on top of that base, and then you lose that. That's obviously devastating if it happens.
Yeah, 2 things scaring me though. The Marines are all clumped up. The tanks, okay, he's starting to leapfrog them. I was going to say he's been unsieging all of the tanks for these slow steps forward, which always makes me nervous. Colossus comes up off the overcharged shield battery. Phoenix are fighting the Vikings, but the tanks need to get the focus fire onto the Colossi as the rest of the Zealots do go down. The Marines can take out the Immortals, and so they do, but there's the lift ups. Just need to knock those siege tanks back to the ground so they can get those big shots off. Marauders are going ham.
The relay.
Still 3 Colossi. Okay, finally one of them dies.
Yeah, I mean, those Colossus were just alive for so long. Forgot kind of just what the super battery was going to do, because when the fight started, I thought Classic took a beating walking in. He was like slow to get going, right? There's kind of the issue with this army. You know, there's no kind of initiation, there's no charge, there's no blink. And then he was kind of walking in a line. I was like, oh god, but man, he really dealt with this well. He did the right things. He got rid of the Vikings, the Colossi stayed alive, they more or less stayed in range of the super battery, and then he lifted the tanks at the end just to keep that kind of Colossus count high. And now he kind of come out of this, and Classic is on his way to freaking carriers. And I mean, being able to transition through the carriers off the back of this is going to make GuMiho's life extremely difficult.
Yeah, this is, I think, a really weird spot to be in, because that carrier transition makes it so hard. The more well-balanced your bio army is in TVP, the worse it performs against this type of composition, if you ask me. And I think that's why we see so many players that get upset by Protoss that do this, because you're thinking, okay, I need the Marauders for the Colossi, and then you just don't have enough to actually deal with the Interceptors or the carriers for that matter. He's just going to push in on top of this before it gets too big, and I think he gets one of the Colossus, but the rest of it is just not going to be enough, and there it is, GG. Okay, Wardi, okay.
You know, I got a little scared because the Marauders just got on top of the Colossi. I was like, right, and there's no batteries on that high ground or anything, but yeah, Classic manages to hold it out, takes the fight, has the carriers, right? And yeah, I mean, great game from Classic. I think he really kind of approached every part of that game in a very calm, collected, and thoughtful way, and definitely picks up a pretty big win for us, because obviously, like I say, you know, this is a tough match on either side, and Classic GuMiho, I think they're both our third picks, so maybe was GuMiho your second pick, actually? But either way, they're still like top 3 picks on either side, and you know, that means it's important on both sides of this. So yeah,
he is a GSL champion, just to be clear. It's GSL champion GuMiho you're talking about. Put some respect on that name. Although Classic, I don't know, it's Classic one. Where's Roddy? I have to use my brain to think. It's gonna be hard.
It was
I haven't had coffee yet today, so this is gonna be one of my legendary casts.
one of the no coffee casts. Oh,
that's right.
Now I'm a little bit worried for you. Hey, this next game though, so we got a 1-0 start, but it's far from over. You got some weapons in your arsenal still, right? And that's
true. We have Hero next, so I'm feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, that's he's been killing it. I didn't actually get to see the game against a laser that he must have lost out on. Is that right? He lost to a laser. Did you get into casting that with Pig or?
Yeah, it was honestly just like Hero just tried to play like the most unbelievably greedy game, and the laser just did this queen walk even without creep spread, because he's like, you have 5 adepts. He tried to go 2-base carrier off of like a Oracle, or he did like a Void Ray opening while he took a third, and a laser he sent the Void Ray across the map, so a laser just killed the 3rd base, no cancel. And he tried to go carriers, and like most Protoss ladder games where you try to do that, you usually just die, and that's what happened. It was about 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay.
Resting Alfredo Fettuccine.
Well, you know what? If Hero wants to do that again, so likes a bit of aggression, short map, I wouldn't be against it, Nate. You know, we can do a little bit of that if you want. I'm down.
If he cancels his 3rd when the links surround it, then maybe.
Okay, well, let's kick this one off. Is in the top left-hand side for the stasis. Wardi's looking to try and extend our lead. He's been pretty reliable for us in a couple of the matches. It's Solar, although he has had some CVP issues. He lost to Stray, he did lose to Skillis, so maybe some cause for concern.
Yeah, well, this guy, he's ready to clap back in the bottom right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Hero.
Hell yeah. The Hero's been great for you this league, man. It feels like, I mean, yeah, that lost to a laser, but you guys were already guaranteed top 2. Wasn't the biggest of deals.
And I did message them. I did let everybody know. I know that those games, those 2 games were played like the next morning, and then we did the cast. But I posted in the chat, I was like, I just want you guys to know that we do have it locked up, so please, don't miss out on a date or something to win this game. If you need to just, do a little cheeky cannon rush and get yourself a nice steak dinner after it, that's okay. We did need to ego check the Muslims, so Pig getting in was not the worst thing that could have happened to us. He's like Roddy. They've just been rolling too hard on the dubs lately, so gotta bring him back down to reality with us peasants every once in a while.
Yeah. No, honestly, I was kind of glad that you, your boys didn't bring it home, because if the Muslim got in and Pig didn't, it would have meant that I would have played the Muslim instead of ZG, and I much preferred playing ZG's team. It's, when Maru and Zest are on a team, they've maybe not been perfect this season, but you never know, right? So that's kind of okay to avoid the guys.
I learned my lesson. Last time. The real secret when someone is like, Nathan, how did you come together with such a good team? How did you make it so far? How did you get the number 2 spot? I said, well, I just tried this time. I picked the players that I believed were going to win me the most amount of matches, and so far I've been, well, not really correct, because like almost every team went 4-3, but we did get a couple more maps, so that's also fine. I'll take that. We take those.
It was crazy how much, like, I think it was only the difference of like you got a 4-1 or something, and then all of a sudden you're like +4, +3 or something, and
it was those 2. It was the 4-1 and the 5-0.
Oh yeah, you got the 5-0
Fear Dragon. Yeah, that was huge. If that had been like a 3-2, I think it's probably like a 4-way tie or something. It would have been ugly.
No, man, it was.
I would have been up at 3 a.m. today instead.
Yeah. No, I was funny because I think like me and Roddy were both 4-3, but because all of our matches were just close, but we also lost like a 1-4. We were like -1 map score, so we had negative map score with the 4-3 overall scoreline. It was.
I think I still finished like +3 or +2, even though
you were way up.
Pig 4-1'd me too.
Yeah.
I only got 1 map off of him.
Yeah. Fear Dragon's
Brutal.
team, man. His team really fell apart that day.
Yeah. It was the start. It was the start of the tournament. We just had the advantage. The Protoss players, they didn't get to go through their arc where they got knocked down and got back up again.
Yeah, well, they didn't quite manage to complete that arc either. They got cancelled mid-season.
The secret to defeating the anime protagonist is to not let them go to the gymnasium with all their friends and have an emotional comeback speech. Okay, you just have to kill them the first time. Don't let them leave. I'm sorry, it's just the way it's got to be. Hero gets that little creep tumor. I like that. Make it a little bit difficult to get those bases connected. Maybe the Oracle's able to swing in and those queens don't come by as fast as they'd like to, but he's got 2 queens per base, so he's just gonna go away because he knows it's not worth it.
Yeah, no, I was a little scared when I see the creep tumor going down. Creep real important, especially connecting up the bases. Make sure your queens can not just move, but transfuse nowadays as well. But there wasn't really anything else to do, so I did have a good setup behind it. And now it is double Oracle moving through, and here we're going to go into that Twilight and Forge on the follow-up. So he's going to play that very ground-focused composition on the back of a couple Oracles. Solo really just needs to make sure his defense is on point here and the queens are in position. The way you kind of lose very easily to what Hero is doing is if you lose, 2 or 3 drones here, then 2 or 3 drones there, and, it's all just off the back of 2 Oracles. Then you're down like 10 drones from what you should have been. Then the Protoss attack really kills you. So far, so good from Solar. He is going to get a catch on these Adepts. Now, the Oracles are going to come and try and help out, but 1 Adept down, that's okay, because now, obviously, 1 Adept doesn't one-shot drones, so it gives you a bit of an easier time defending this in the main as well.
He's going to at least get 1 worker kill, and I did want to just clarify one thing real quick here, Wardi. But you said Solar just came back from, what is it, the Tasteless Slumber Party? Yes. The Tasteless Slumber Party.
The Slumber Party.
It's pretty late over in Korea now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will be real with you. I asked myself whether I thought Solar would be completely sober for this match, but then I realized I'm not sure that the answer gives me an advantage in either way.
I think
because we partied with Solar. He parties. He keeps it together pretty well. He's a funny guy.
He's a pretty funny guy, and he's, he's got it all together, man. He's feeling good today. He won his first series earlier. He won the Tasteless Land Party. So not only did he get a good slumber, and he also won the tournament. He is he's feeling it. He's on fire.
That's so I'm thinking. I asked. I'm like, maybe if Solar popped like maybe 2 bottles of champagne, because I feel like one would probably make him play. Probably play it well enough to win this game easily. But I was hoping they had that second one and they had that last toast on the way out. Oh, okay, there you go. There it is, right there. Beautiful.
I was looking at this, I'm like, why has Hero got a 4th base before my Zerg play? Like, that doesn't make sense. But then I don't think Soul actually knows he's going to try, and yeah, okay, this time he does get the hatchery down. That's nice, because it feels like the longer this got delayed, the more problematic that would be. And Solar does know about the
Hero, though.
Yeah, it is.
Hero's a psychopath. This is kind of like what we saw versus a laser, except he's not rushing 2-base carrier. He's going to build real units, but he's more than happy to just match Solar on economy and just say, yeah, he's not going to attack me. I'm not worried about it.
Solar's playing pretty well around these adepts. Going to force the oracles. Kind of seemed like he knew that was going to happen, so just going to back away. Queen's moving through. He is starting to focus some creep in the middle, and he did put down a Hydra Den, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get pretty aggressive just off Hydra Roach. But short map can definitely be effective, and especially if you got that creep to boost you through the middle of the map nice and quickly, could be very scary. The only issue is Hydras do not trade well later into the game, so this is very much so looking like a do or die sooner rather than later situation.
Yeah, putting a little bit of a clock on it. And it's going to be weird because I feel like a lot of Zerg players will be thinking about that 3rd base. How do I tackle that? How do we work on dismantling it? And it's a 4-base Protoss now. So he's going to be running into, well, if he gives him enough time, an army that should grow way faster than you can usually get away with in PvZ. He still needs the upgrade, still needs that charge, but on 4 Nexus this fast, how many gates do we have? Just 11. Okay, we're getting there. But
do you like Hero? Hero needs to not actually attack. I can appreciate him getting rid of some creep spread because that's going to make it harder for Solo to come across the map as well. But he needs to really get these gateways moving. I don't know. I feel like right now Solo's army is very powerful, but again, like over time it becomes a lot worse. And then again, he is max, so I guess now is kind of the time to go. He got Groove Spines first, so doesn't have Hydra speed. That does make attacking difficult as well. So what is the plan? Well, he was about to attack him, which is definitely not what Hero wants to do, I don't think.
Yeah, this seems like an incredibly risky move. Zealots want to flank to the natural, but that is not going to work. The army was split about as well as it possibly could have been. We could get everything over to the rest of the Zealots and maybe just isolate the Roaches. Yeah. I think that's nice. Get a little dub there, but I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. He's attacked a Zerg as the Zerg maxed well before he has the capacity to deal with it himself.
You know what I think it really is as well? Is this almost initiated Solo's attack, right? It gave Solo a way to get across the map without issues. Corrosive Bars, I don't think reached the supercharged battery there, and the Zealots go charging in. It's a lot of Roaches. A few Ravagers going to drop some more bars. Stalkers have to back it up a little bit. An extra round of Zealots coming through. Solo's army supply is still hanging on in there. Has he got enough to just keep this going? He needs to knock down these Stalkers after these Zealots are gone. He needs to start getting some damage done because, again, in the longer game, I still don't like his army. And he is going to get pushed back for the moment, but it does have a big rebuild. And I guess Hero lost a lot of his kind of baseline units, and he's actually floating a lot of money right now. I know he's got 12 gates, but he just spent it all on Zealots again. And he could really do with like a Temple Archives, nice.
Yeah, what I like about this is that for a defense and conversely a counterattack, he has all these gateways and a crap ton of mineral income to throw Zealots at him. And as he abates this fight on the right side, there's another huge wave headed towards the northwest into that natural. And this is, I think, what he was looking for before. Now that the Roaches are no longer there, now that the chaos of the game has started to explode a little bit, I think you just splinter off a few into the main base, kill the Queen in the natural, and then dealing with this is so annoying. But Hero has out-expanded Solar in the first 10 minutes of this PvZ. He has the bottom left base. It's done. It's mining. It's saturated. And he's got Solar running his army to the back of his own main. Even though Solar is up like 60 supply, I guess we go back to the Roaches are inflated supply, you know?
I mean, everyone just has like the worst army I've ever seen for like 10 minutes in a PvZ, you know? It's like, it's Roach Hydra versus Zealot Stalker tech units. I haven't actually heard of those. I mean, so Hero drops down double Robo, which she'll be nice for the transition if he gets there. I mean, Solar is maxed out again. Hero is still attacking in. I appreciate he's only really trading out Zealots. He's trading evenly though, so I guess it doesn't matter. These few Zealots are going to come back in the top. Solar has to come again. Solar needs another one of those chances to get across the map. Like, he needs one of these fights to get shut down so he can then set up across the map. And if he can get there, I really think he can do well. just has to get there first, and maybe this is his opportunity now as he starts to move down the bottom left. Another fight. I mean, so many zealots without. What about bailing this, Solar? I mean, is it too late to add one of those in? Like, that'd be really good right now as we start this fight up again.
I really just appreciate Solar's willingness to not build a bailing nest. He seems like he's in a little bit of a rush here in this game.
Okay, these stalkers are stuck though.
Hero probably blink the stalkers into the back of this pocket into all the probes and recall them out. Maybe that's the move here. I don't know. Or let the probes die and then recall. No, he's recalling to the same nexus.
No, what a play! That's so smart. It's an extra blink forward.
Oh man, I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need some real comfort food. Okay, we're gonna need to break out the Kraft macaroni and cheese here because that might be the only thing thick enough to contain my tears after this.
That was the worst blink forward I've ever seen, Nate. Would not advise doing that one.
You know, I could feel Jeff calling out to me from the ether on that one. That's a patience level, not quite a blink, but as close to a patience level blink as we'd ever seen. God, I have nothing to say. I hope we can reverse 3.
It's like usually if you blink, you use the blink button or maybe use a warp prism and micro a little bit, but recall in the Nexus just seems a little extreme, you know?
Recalling to the Nexus. That's good.
It's maybe Heroes like, oh, they added like attack delay after blink, right? So I may as well just recall and sit there if I'm going to blink in anyway. It's like, no, man, that's just the Dark Templar. It's not the Stalkers as well.
Oh,
wow. That was,
that
was good.
You guys can beat. Do you guys think you can beat Cats in the finals?
Yeah, we're the only team that beat Cats so far, so.
Oh, well,
I mean, maybe that's the way. My guys are having a great time in the Discord. They're all laughing. About 1 minute ago, everyone went laugh, laugh, laugh.
They're like, oh, Hero's just throwing a million punches at him. He's got all this, but not supply efficient enough against those roaches.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll say this: Rogue should probably be creator. I feel fairly confident in that statement. The reverse sweep, though, I don't know. Special and Keen have their work cut out for them.
It's
gonna get
tough, but not impossible for sure. This is absolutely one of those series where, you know, Keen has been beyond before. Spirit has not had a good TVT record in this event. It's Pride. It's probably gonna go late game. I don't know, man. Like it's very up in the air. I'm very glad we got the 2-0 lead because I think that gives us a good chance, though. Obviously, I mean, one more to go. But yeah, Rogue created. It's obviously gonna be tough for creator no matter what.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like whatever could go wrong is about to go wrong. We've fallen off. What's that term everybody's using now? We're washed. We had a great start. We had a great start to the season. We had a great start to this league, and now the wind's been taken right out of our sails.
Right out of the sails. All right, well, let's see if we can put an early end to your misery, Nate, in the top right. Creator is going to try and get it done. Funnily enough, facing off against someone he has a GSL match against in, like, probably, I guess, like, 18 hours from now.
Ooh, a little GSL action tonight. And in the bottom left, this guy knows what it's like to clap some in GSL. He is Rogue. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what he does. Let's see how weird this gets. Lewis, my dog, he's crawled over. He's under the chair. He has wrapped himself around my legs. He's very comfortable now. In case anybody needed a doggo update.
Is he your good luck charm? Like, was he here for the last 2 games, or has he just arrived?
Yeah, tragically, he came in right as the match was starting, right? So for all I know, his eyeballs have like Wi-Fi implants going to your team's Discord because things are not going well.
We've been setting this up for years.
Oh my own dog was a plant. Wardi's like, did you think it was coincidence they only had one puppy when you went to meet that family? Did you even ask for their names? I'm like, oh, are they real?
My dog just came in now as well. She's like, I heard you talking about dogs. And it's like, it's okay, Ellie. We're not replacing you. You're okay.
Well, I'm sorry. That's the comment I get from the wifey when I run into the room and I'm like, oh, Lewis, belly rubs, ears scratches. Is there somebody else in the room? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been there.
Do you love the dog more than me? I'm like, please don't make me answer impossible questions.
The dog doesn't understand the idea or concept of waiting for the loves, right? Like,
that's true.
You gotta.
They've got a belly.
Prioritize.
It needs to be rubbed. That's it. That's the law.
Especially if they, roll over for you when you move in, it would just be rude not to.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have a dog like a golden or something, they roll over as soon as you look at them.
Oh yeah. Absolutely do. I'm gonna get Twilight Council opening from Creator. It's not really a Twilight kind of map hardwire. Obviously this one is decent for playing Stargates on. And in general, I would say Creator is kind of a Stargate guy, but this might be a cool little mix-up to one or two things, right? They do play in GSL tomorrow, so maybe he wants to try and, mix it up from what he'll use in GSL a bit, or obviously just feels like this is a good way to mix it up in general as he starts the Glaives, but we'll see exactly what he sets up for. Adding extra gateways now, but no sign of the Robo just yet.
Yeah, that's the resonating Glaive Adept opening. I mean, there's so much that you can do with it, right? Like, I feel that's been a whole part of this meta shift, right? And everything in the last couple of months of people mixing it up. That was one of the fun things that Hero did. That's kind of what I was hoping to see a little bit more from him, PVZ wise, but I also understand the need to mix it up and meme it up. But some of those Glaive Adept builds with the pressure early on can really knock the Zerg off kilter and kind of keep them from getting into that monster mode.
Yeah, and I mean, Rogue, obviously, he's not quite sure what's up. He's dropping a spore in the main, right? He doesn't have the scouting info, so for now, this is okay for Creator. Now, he does drop the Rotron in plenty of time, but this is, again, it's also only 3 gates, so it's not like he's super committed to this. There's a lot of plenty kind of ways out from this setup as well, so a good start for Creator here. I don't mind the choice, but again, Rogue shouldn't be in tons of trouble right away either.
Yeah, decent spot. And I won't lie, I'm also mildly nervous because Rogue, my guy, he's playing a macro game, and typically breaking out the all-ins, going for the Giga Cheese. That's a little more in line with my expectations. Look at Creator's follow-up to this, by the way. Straight up Psychopath, double Stargate, back of the main while he's sending Glaive Adepts across. You love to see it.
Yeah, what I really love about my team is that I really feel like in the past couple play days, they've really come together and been like, hey, do this, do that, or, hey, look out for this, and stuff like that. So I do like the builds they've been using. I feel like everyone's playing very smart in these last few games, and yeah, Creator doing something, like I say, a little bit different, gonna put some pressure on for some units, and he's just gonna Stargate it up, ahead on workers. Yeah, I guess kind of liking it right now. Even gonna go Phoenix. That's the real Psychopath move.
What? But why? Phoenix Adept versus that's a genuine but why. Okay, maybe he just wants to get the first 2 Phoenix and kill Overlords and then go no, he's just building Phoenix. Okay
These Adepts just gonna threaten again. I don't mind this though. I mean, this is Creator getting a 3rd base. Well, he needs to not get it cancelled. He'll warp into Adepts. It's only like 8 lings. I think this is defendable with these couple of Adepts, considering they have Glaives. Easily defendable. He just has to pull the other Adepts back now, but yeah, you're getting a 3rd base up. The Zerg is finally overtaking on drones, but I feel like if Creator, this game's going at a good pace at the moment, and there's nothing to be too worried about just yet.
How many Phoenix do you think he builds? Does he stop?
You build a lot. Like, I mean, 6 is the first time you usually show them, and he's going to go out with like 4 and 5 and 6 about to be done. Nice Ling Scout here from Rogue. We'll see it at least. Yeah, I mean, he could go for like a lot, but I think 6 is also just a reasonable number because with what Rogue's doing, 6 can like force him into Hydras, and then, you build up the ground army to actually be good against Hydras maybe, so yeah, it looks like 6 for now. I don't imagine if he stops now, he'll have to go back into it again.
That's reasonable. He didn't get the +1 though. I know Roddy's shaking his head out there. No +1 on the Phoenix. He did get a couple of Overlords, and not too shabby.
Yeah,
I thought that he was gonna have this as a gotcha in case Rogue tried to do like an early push or send Ravagers or something across, and then he's like, I can just lift them up and defended. It won't be too tricky. The creep's not really close enough that I don't know. People still queen walk, so it's not like a sure thing, but I guess it wouldn't be as easy.
This Rogue's going Spire, mate. Like, Spire, if this is more and more Phoenix, feels great, right? Because you get Corruptors up, you basically nullify the Phoenix, and you run around caustic spraying everywhere. Against 6 Phoenix, I feel like it's a little overkill to get Corruptors, and obviously you can't build Mutas. Maybe you build like a handful of Corruptors into Mutas, and obviously you're playing off the idea that there's probably not a lot of Stalkers or Blink on the side of Creator, which would be very true. But, again, I know I'm a little bit biased, I'm kind of meant to be, but I do feel like, just like the way that the game is going for Creator so far, like, it feels like the setup for him is pretty good here initially. And he sees the Spire too, so he really does know everything as well.
Knows the exact Spire timing, has 2 Stargates, so what do you really do here? Because if he had gone for Mutas, the Phoenix can deal with those. If he goes for Corruptors to get rid of the Phoenix, well then obviously the Immortal Adept army is going to have a field day with Roach Ling. So feels like there's no easy way out of this for Rogue. He is going to build the Corruptors first, but he's going to have to avoid taking a fight, right? Like maybe this just turns into an eat the map, get a ton of supply, go straight to Hive, max out, but Creator's going to push it.
I like the push as well. Gates of finishing Temple Archives coming up. It's a great timing to push at. You know, these Corruptors are going to come out and they'll be able to join the fight and fight the Phoenix, but what's important is the fight's going to happen on Rogue side of the map, so the Corruptors aren't going to be instantly able to be like, aha, now I'm caustic spraying down a base and you've got to like fight me and defend your base and stuff. Because that's when Corruptors really do become quite annoying and powerful, right? So, yeah, I think this is a good time to be set up to push. The Corruptor's actually going to find the Prism in the middle. It's just not enough for them to take it down. That could have been scary. I was just going to see the Phoenix harassing now. The Corruptors are maybe what they're going to do. I don't know where they are. Yeah, not really anywhere to be seen. Oh, they are going to go for the Prisms. They're going to shut down the reinforcements, and now Creator gets his Archons caught. Didn't see Rogue looping around. Oh, good catch from Rogue.
Nice moves by Rogue. He's got a couple Lings backstabbing in the north and the north central. Now he's a few Zealots to defend.
Now he's building Mutas on the base trade as well. And even just to clean up this army, there's not a lot of anti-air in this army with the Archons gone. Catching the Archons was so huge.
Yeah, boy. Oh, yeah. Getting rid of those Archons was absolutely monstrous.
But Creator can just recall home. Does he have a recall? Just recall the Immortals home, no? Like, do you need to stand here and trade? I don't think so.
You should, though. Thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure nothing, absolutely nothing. Be like those Terran players that don't repair anything. Please, just let your units die. They're not valuable, I promise.
Unless Phoenix are dead and now there's 20 Mutas. See, this is what I mean. Like, Corruptors into the Mutas is probably the way to go, and it's obviously what he did.
I think it's because he recalled the Phoenix, right?
He just
right
before
the Spire finished, and then he attacked. That's like a 2-minute cooldown, so I think he might have just barely missed it. Yeah, it's still on.
Yeah.
It just came off cooldown.
I think if he doesn't lose the 2 Archons, right? Like, he obviously just left the little kind of the back end of his army undefended, and those Archons got caught. He lost the Prism. That's obviously not good, not being able to warp into the fight. And I really liked everything that this was looking like for Creator. Just a little bit of execution towards the end. And even like, I mean, even at the start of the base trade, it was looking good. He just couldn't keep it up. Yeah. Good effort from Rogue.
Well,
that's what he's good at, man. Making bad situations look easy.
That's definitely the match that I would have picked for 100%. Like, this should be a turnaround point for us, but now it comes down to the last 2 Terran boys try to get it done. And who do you have left? Spirit and Beyond?
Yes.
It's going to be.
We're going to swap over to NA to do the special versus Spirit matchup on Pride of Altaris, Nate.
Oh boy.
I already casted 1 TVT of on Pride of Altaris this season, and it was also Spirit, and well, let me tell you, it was a whole 18 minutes. Well, it was only like 25 minutes, but it was 18 minutes of waiting. So, yeah.
So it was TVT. Nice.
Yeah. It was TVT on a very big map, and no one ended the game early, so we'll see what happens. You know, I think Spirit against the Korean Terrans, yeah, I was quite worried, and he didn't quite show up, but he got into some good positions. Against Special, I know Special's really good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's something about the Korean Terran specifically that Spirit struggled against, so maybe, just maybe, he'll be okay here.
Maybe. Or maybe Special will do that thing he does where he just dunks on people in TVT, because he's pretty good in that matchup. Maybe. Take it to a game 5 so that Beyond versus Keen can decide it. There you go. What better way to give everybody a nice adrenaline rush to kick off their Sunday? Or I guess for folks like you, Wardi, you're gonna get dinner after this. What are your plans tonight? What do you do when this is over?
Tonight I'm gonna sleep, man.
Nice. You've earned it.
Recover for sure. Yeah. But Crate was in the Discord. He's just saying, my build was good. I had the army set up properly. I just got split up a little bit too much at the end, and obviously it fell apart very quickly from there. Which is exactly what happens in these kind of situations, right? Just like I say, it was the Archons got caught, Prison gets caught. But no, yeah. Once this is over, I'm gonna get some rest. I'm gonna watch the rebroadcast and think back to all the times where I had to schedule 40 players and 8 casters, and remember them and be happy it's over for a while.
Nice. Well, it's been a fun event, though. I think it's been good times. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. This will be over. It'll be like 8:30. I'm either gonna lie down on the floor next to my dog and fall asleep, or I won't be able to sleep, and maybe we'll just go for a walk. It's pretty beautiful outside.
It sounds like great options, to be fair. So.
Yeah. But the worst case scenario is I just make a coffee and go for a little walk now. It's not too bad. Not the worst punishment.
No.
All right, we got my guy here. So I'll just say in the bottom right, we have the yellow Terran player representing System Gaming and Team Special Tactics. He is Special.
On the top left-hand side, our light green Stasis Wardi Terran is Spirit. Okay, Nate. If you win, what are you doing with the caster prize money?
Is there caster prize money? Did we get there?
We didn't get that, but we guaranteed the caster prize money so that we get a little bit of love out of it.
Okay.
Something like 800, 600, 800 first, 600 second, 450 third, and fourth.
Well, I live in a legal state, I guess. I'll leave it with that, Wardi. There you go. Maybe some Scooby snacks for Lewis if we come back here. I think I'm gonna have to give him some partial credit if we come back in this game. So,
especially if he doesn't actually have Wi-Fi implants. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If he now I have to get him. You know how much at work I have to get an industrial strength magnet now. Just run it over the top of his head just in case somebody's got nano machines in there. I don't think removing them would be feasible if they had a surgeon do it. So I just need to get a powerful enough magnet to destroy the nano machines, and then we can. Then I'll get him. We'll get him some nice treats.
Hell yeah.
Treats for Lewis and Nate. Yes, thank you, guy in the chat. Appreciate it.
There we go. There we go. Awesome. That seems like a good way to spend it.
So people get nervous about TVT on this map, huh? They get a little bit sweaty.
It's just a map that naturally is big, right? You can naturally defend a lot of bases. Don't forget the 4 different layers. So you have 3 high grounds. Yeah. So there's multiple defensive
every game
positions.
on this map. I would.
Literally, until you go late game, every one of your bases is up on high ground. Is Spirit is actually going to get a good little trade out against a Reaper there, HP wise, but nothing crazy. Not just yet.
All right. And Natural's coming up at the same time. I mean, this is the most standard cookie cutter opening you can basically do in TVT for both players. Nothing really out of the ordinary. And we just kind of wait and see where they want to go with the starport and the factory timings. What's interesting on the side of Special is that he's going to proxy that starport. So I correct myself now. I was like, where's the starport? Why did he not immediately start it? Now I get it. But what's he going to do with this? Proxy. Sometimes you could send Hellions there and build the starport on location, or build a medevac on location, or
maybe just.
Do you think it's going to be his battlecruiser rush from earlier this season?
It could be. I would say a fast live. Maybe if you go wild, you rush out of BC or something really crazy like that. Definitely possible is just going to be seen Special. Looking with a few Reapers and Hellions, but obviously very tough to go up. There's a ramp, but he's going to try and do it anyway. One Hellion led the charge to, I guess, mitigate the splash damage. And he's going to try to re-engage in. Those Reapers doing okay, but we're going to chase. We get a Reaper as well, and Spirit's actually going to be able to continue chasing down. And oh, that Hellion stopped again from Special. He stops once more, so he's going to lose the Hellion or the Reaper or something. He'll lose everything. Wow.
Oof. I don't like that. I see a Fusion Core building, though, and I do like that. Okay, so we're getting back into some deep fried dank meme territory. I'm feeling a little more comfortable again. Special has he done this in like 2 games? I think he's proxied or done BCs. Yeah, he's done it in a lot, especially to the Terran players. And I actually think that this strategy is so freaking good in TVT because while there are specialized answers for it, if you catch the other player off guard, and so many Terrans, like, they can't refuse. You're like, why would you drive off of a cliff for no reason? And then I ask him, I see Terrans drop auto turrets with their Ravens in the opponent's mineral line every game. And I still don't get it, you know? It does not make any sense. But if he sends the Raven out of his base and the battle cruiser walks in, and he's able to maybe take down the Cyclone or 10 SCVs, then I think that the wheels come off the wagon fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's something that can change up very quickly and in a very scary way. So, I'm a little bit nervous, Nate. BC's halfway done for now, so it's just sat back and it's kind of like, oh well, this is okay, right? We've got some Marines, we've got ourselves a Cyclone. Not a lot to fight a BC, but obviously drop a Matrix, it can't do too much. But if he unsieges and starts to move out, which, because he won the fight, he might just do, right? Like, he might be like, yeah, I took down your early units, maybe let's get some map control. That would not be good.
I love that. I love that Special builds a third on location because he recognizes that the only thing that would stop this from happening would be the best scenario for the battlecruiser. So if the army was coming over to that third and he was going to shut it down, then the BC would have free reign. And if there's units here, well, then his third is fine, and building it on location wasn't a problem. So,
yep,
some nice decisions being made. He's got Cyclones outside the base, basically just waiting in case Vikings come out or in case the Raven chases. He won't need to teleport away, but he'll still have that option.
Yeah, I don't like the double tank response to this right now, as we are just going to teleport the BC straight on home, or at least down the bottom left. So BC doesn't do a lot.
If you see that, by the way, that's a big giveaway. If you're ever playing versus battlecruisers, the way that they're pointing when they go to teleport, that's where they're headed. So if he points down like that, he's most likely just going to the bottom left of your base, and the Vikings and Ravens could go there and get the kill. But the Cyclones still applying some nice pressure, forcing that siege up immediately. But setting this BC in again right now, that would be suicide. There's no way it would get out.
There is a lot of kiting happening with the Cyclones here. That one Widow minus special on the left side could be a cool catch as well, but yeah, Spirit seems to know that he wants to just take a third base and defend a third base. So that's exactly what he'll do. Obviously, he's looking to play Bio Special, looking as though he's going to be adding on some factories, playing a little bit of mech. And Spirit looking to try and possibly give us that W with this Bio play then.
Painfully patient. What he's going for. There's the Yamato. I like this though. Take out a couple of the tanks where you can. He still doesn't have the teleport on this one, but the Cyclones are waiting to catch him if he tries to chase. Second BC came in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's so frustrating because he's like, well, I have stuff to deal with the BCs, but if the tanks all die, then the Cyclones can just kill everything too, right? Because he doesn't have stim. He doesn't really have the setup to he does have stim, but he doesn't really have the setup to use stim to bio against this. Like, trying to just chase him with no medevacs and no combat shield would be, well, he wouldn't kill the Cyclones, just say that much.
Yeah, well, we are going to find at least the Starport. It'd be nice to get rid of it, but the problem is the Cyclones, they just provide so much map control, man. Like, they just show up, they're terrifying against any armored unit because the Cyclone upgrade just does so much damage. So he's actually going to get to build another battlecruiser, even though Spirit knows exactly where they're coming from.
That's the tough part about playing against a style like this, Special. We've seen him do this several times in this league. And if I'm thinking about the dubs, the advantages on the other side, it's that he hasn't made across the map. Spirit has not made it across the map. He's just chilling. Yep. He's in this awkward defensive position. The battlecruiser's just going to Yamato that Cyclone down, take what you can get, don't risk anything. This is the best way to do it, by the way. If it feels like it's a little too fast on the draw with the Yamato, you should be, because if if the disable hits you, then it's going to cancel the Yamato, and you're not going to be able to teleport out. So you need to always be ready to teleport if the Ravens are around. So that's what he does, because you see that interference matrix, even if it hits you mid charge up for the teleport, it doesn't do anything until after the jump. So special retains that battle cruiser count. Maybe we bring the starport home. Maybe we don't keep trying to build out of that. I don't know.
Like
he's bringing the tanks too. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm a little monk-ass over here.
I mean, at this point, Spirit's got enough to justify bringing tanks over here, because he's also looking to defend the 4th base, which the tank siege, he should be fine, because the tank should be able to support against the Cyclones. Spirit is going to get rid of that starport just about in time. The BC show up. We're going to drop the Yamato or two, and the medevac goes down.
Did you Yamato a Marine there? That's a really...
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Police might be showing up to Special's place after that. That's a bit hardcore, but loses the starport. And he's getting the regular mech upgrades. Did we get any starports rebuilt? I guess he's just going to give it up completely, because the fusion core is a very likely candidate to get picked off next, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is that 8 factories?
Upgrade
yes.
complete.
Yeah. So this is a WardiTV TVT special.
I do like that Spirit's going to load up and go down the left side and maybe find something on the 3rd base as special. Obviously, special is already on the 4th. He's had all the map control. He's had all the freedom to expand. This is what Spirit needs to do. He's playing bio. He needs to be active on the map at some point. You just can't let the Cyclones dominate forever, and that's a nice catch on a Cyclone right there. We'll clean out the tower in the center, and yeah, I like that Spirit's finally getting a bit of control back in this. Obviously, still has to be wary of those triple BCs, which are in the top right. But yeah, nice to have a couple drops on the map, and if this right side or central drop can just move the army around a bit, then maybe the left side drop can actually come in and really kind of snipe a base down or so.
Yeah, one of the other really good things that Spirit has done in this game, got to call out, is just the 3 sensor towers. Do not let the battle cruisers just come in and drag over a base and then kill 10 workers while your army is sprinting over. Just have that stuff, and that's a great way to do it. I love that the fusion core is coming up for Spirit. I wonder if he's realizing that Special just clearly does not care
drop the units,
to build air units.
God, I mean, he just didn't realize the BCs were back there and Yamato and his medevac, so took a little while to start dropping. In the end, he drops into some Hellions and some tanks, and it's not really that pretty of a drop, but he is moving forward with the rest of his army. But now the tanks are sieged, and it seems like it's too late to really do much about it. He might be able to get to the right side, but on the right side it's a planetary, so that's not really a susceptible side. He does have a little drop in the main base now. I just don't think there's enough of an opening for him to really do that much, and I think Special's going to be able to clean this all up. Yeah, it's
a very tense situation. I don't know, like his army on the ground is really strong, but he's going to get forced to build Thors. I hate Thors in TVT, Wardy. I don't think that they're good. I feel like they have a lot of very punishing vulnerabilities, and much like this situation here, he's just kind of stuck. So he could try to just Yamato the tanks if he has it off cooldown and then maybe repair, but there are no turrets here. So if the Vikings want to chase these battle cruisers down once the Yamato is out, that'll be pretty easy for them to do. I think he just caught a Hellion or something trying to run into the natural. Yeah, that did not really accomplish much.
PCs are going to come in from the right side, looking for a little bit of the flank here, and they are going to get the initial Yamato off. The tank's going to unsiege. Obviously, I guess the one thing that doesn't happen in Special's army at all is he doesn't have a lot of like chase potential, so like he can't catch up to units that unsiege and just start walking away. And Spirit's just going to rotate around maybe towards these bottom bases. I mean, he's building 6 libs right now. He knows his kind of strength lies in ranged libs very soon.
Range liberators are going to be done soon. He's just going to have, what, 2 Thors to deal with it. And, of course, the battle cruisers, but the Vikings are not going to make that too easy.
He has a couple extra.
I think it's crazy. It's so crazy. He proxied the starport, proxied the fusion core, and then just said, I'm not going to build another starport this game.
Yeah.
And that's ludicrous to me. I get that he has this huge factory army and he is maxed out, but absolutely nuts. You see there, planetary fortresses, very strong against battle cruisers. They have a lot of armor by default. And if the Thors are in a good spot, then he can do something. But look, he hasn't even put them in single target mode yet, so he has to take that second to do that. He does have a Cyclone mixed in, but once the Thors are dead too...
And we just drop on top of the tanks. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems okay to me. There's this Battle Cruiser that's going to take a little bit more damage. There's not really a lot to hit the BC anymore, but the Vikings are coming back. It's the only BC that's left, so the other two died already. And now there's no siege tanks, so can the Marauders just chase forward? They're such low HP, though. Look at anti-armor missile and everything to try and take down these Thors. We chase forward. The Thors are going down, and there's still no tanks out at all. Is any in production? There's only a single tank on the way.
My dude's got 2,000. He's got command centers for days. He's one more like Billy Mays, and I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say here, Wardi. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the starport usage. I get that you can, with the extra factories, try to make up for this, but the fact that you're like having to alternate your production between Thors and siege tanks is just never good in this matchup, because the Thors, they just don't have the flexibility to deal with all of this. And I think you might be about to catch your big dub here, Wardi.
It might be a couple of Thors coming down from the main as well, but the Vikings actually trade pretty well on the ground against them, so if nothing else, we're already trading pretty well, and Spirit's going to start sieging up in the natural expansion as well, and he is going to start taking down another Thor. You know, last week when we finished up the groups, he said in the team chat, he's like, hey guys, I know I didn't play great in the groups, but in the playoffs, I'll win every game I play, and I wasn't a full believer, but this being his first, it looks as though he might just be about to get it done. GG! Spirit is going to send the Stasis Wardies to the Grand Finals.
Well done. Congratulations, Wardi.
GG's, man.
Congratulations. You know what? You've busted your butt so hard putting all this together and making this happen. I have absolutely no problem with you rigging it so that you make caster prize money.
You guys